Frances thought she was the happiest woman in the world until her husband of 20 years suddenly asked for a divorce, claiming she had never truly loved him. She was devastated to learn that he had found someone else. To make matters worse, under local law, she had to split the house she had bought and pay him a hefty alimony. Frances was furious. Why should she support him when he was at fault? Her lawyer explained that her income was much higher, urging her to accept reality and move on, promising that happiness would eventually return. But Frances couldn't see it. She felt her once warm home had turned into a place of coldness and despair. To settle the alimony, Frances was forced to give her husband half of the house. Before leaving, she took only a few boxes of books and left behind the valuable furniture, hoping to leave without regret. But upon arriving at her single apartment, she was reminded of her situation. The landlord explained that most residents were heartbroken divorcees, and Frances was overwhelmed with sadness. She collapsed on the floor, but her best friend Patty was there to comfort her. They raised a glass to freedom, and Frances was happy for Patty, who was pregnant. Despite losing love, Frances still believed in true love. Patty gave Frances a ticket to Tuscany, encouraging her to take a trip to clear her mind and maybe find new love. But Frances wasn't ready to join a crowd of strangers. She preferred to stay in her lonely apartment and nurse her wounds. However, when she heard crying from the neighboring apartment, she realized she needed to leave. So, she decided to travel to Tuscany. In this picturesque wine region, surrounded by fields of sunflowers and green hills, Frances didn't expect her life to change. At a busy market, she saw a woman in a black hat who caught her attention. The woman's smile was confident, and Frances felt a spark of joy. After losing sight of her, Frances saw a house listing on the wall and was drawn to a small villa called Private Sunday. The woman appeared again and suggested that Frances buy it. Despite initially declining, Frances found herself in front of the villa after a strange turn of events. The house was run down, but it brought her a sense of freedom. Without any reason, she used all her savings to buy it. There, in an old house with a 300-year history, Frances started a new chapter of her life, inheriting old wine bottles, a grape, and an assortment of uninvited guests. One stormy night, after the power went out and thunder struck, Frances hid in bed, feeling lonely and helpless. A soaked owl perched at his bedside, comforting him with, "You're gonna be okay. You're safe here." The next day, as the clouds parted and the sun shone, Frances felt renewed. Mr. Martini, the realtor, arrived and introduced Frances to a Polish renovation crew. Their warmth and enthusiasm helped Frances begin a major renovation. For her, it wasn't just about fixing the house but mending the broken pieces of her own life.